At 1:17 a.m., Eileen placed the last spoonful of oatmeal into Sophia's mouth. The clock on the wall ticked steady, patient, yet indifferent. Outside, the city slept. Inside, however, it seemed awakened, heavy and oppressive. Sophia's eyelids drooped, her lips still glistening with a honeyed sheen. Eileen held her tightly, feeling the rise and fall of her small chest, warm, vulnerable, yet full of vitality. On the table lay an unopened Uber Eats delivery bag. Inside was a message Mark had sent at noon. "A client dinner tonight, I'll be late." No apology. No comfort. No tenderness. Eileen stared at the bag, not because she wanted to eat the food inside, but because she wanted to be remembered. This was their 7th year of marriage and Mark's 5th time winning the Project Manager of the Year award. Eileen vividly remembered that awards night. Mark, impeccably dressed in a suit, stood under the dazzling lights, amidst thunderous applause while she sat in the last row, holding a feverish Sophia, her phone screen flashing a message from the doctor. Sophia pushed her toy car towards Eileen's feet. The tiny wheels rolled over the faint stretch marks on her ankles. Eileen knelt down, straightening her daughter's crooked pink bow, only then noticing her own nails untrimmed for 2 months. Mark often said she was too strong, but he never saw how much she had sacrificed to keep the family together. "Mommy," Sophia asked sleepily, "when is Daddy coming home?" Eileen smiled softly, more for herself than for her daughter. Sometimes love fades not in loud fights, but in quiet nights no one notices. Just after 2 in the morning, the door clicked open. The hallway light had been off until Mark turned it on. Cold, white light filled the room. Eileen was kneeling on the floor, building a Lego castle with Sophia. The takeout box was completely cold, condensation forming on the plastic like silent tears. "Why are you waiting for me again?" Mark said, loosening his tie. Eileen didn't look up. "Sophia wanted to build the castle with you." Mark's phone buzzed an urgent message from the team. He glanced at the clock. "I have to fly to San Francisco tomorrow," he said. "The client insists the contract must be signed this week." Eileen slowly stood up, the Lego tower in her hands tilted. "You promised to come for her birthday last week," she said wearily. "Today her 3rd birthday, and you didn't even send a video." Mark remembered the text message he received at the airport. "Sophia can write Daddy, now want a video." He only replied with a like. "I'm busy, you know that," he said. "If I can close this deal, I'll get a promotion next year." Eileen smiled softly. "Mark," she whispered, "yesterday Sophia asked me, 'Mommy, does my daddy really exist?'" Silence fell like shattered glass. A child's question can reveal truths adults are too afraid to face. Mark's phone rang again. Mark, the client needs to confirm in person. He grabbed his phone and headed for the door. Eileen stopped him, her hand on the doorknob. "Where are you going?" "To the office." "Is that project more important than Sophia's birthday? More important than our marriage?" Mark froze. He suddenly remembered Sophia running towards him with a drawing. It depicted 3 people holding hands, but only 2 had faces. He had smiled then and turned to leave. He stammered. Eileen let go of the door and went into the kitchen. The sound of running water filled the room, exactly the sound of her cooking pasta, and laughing heartily when they were newly married. Mark stood alone in the living room, listening to the sound of running water. Suddenly, he remembered the early days of their marriage. Back then, Erin often cooked pasta in the kitchen. She would hum softly while stirring the pot, talking about her day as if every small detail mattered. He used to lean against the doorway and watch her, feeling quietly lucky just to be there. But as time passed, he stood there less and less. Not because he loved her any less, but because, deep down, he always assumed she would always be there. Now, standing alone in the living room, Mark finally realized just how far apart they had grown. Distance in marriage is rarely measured in miles, only in silence. Morning arrived with the smell of butter and eggs. Sunlight slipped through the blinds. Erin flipped eggs at the stove, golden light dancing in her hair. Sophia sat in her high chair clutching toast. "Daddy," she shouted, "Mommy says we're baking a cake today." Mark's phone vibrated again. His thumb hovered over the screen, then he turned it off. "Today," he said, "I'm not going to the office." Erin paused mid-flip. Sophia cheered and stuffed toast into his mouth. Mark knelt beside his daughter. "Sophia, I miss too much, I'm sorry." She tilted her head. "Will you miss again?" He looked at Erin. For the first time, he truly asked himself, "Who have I been living with?" He stood up. "Erin," he said softly, "can we talk?" She met his eyes. "About what?" "About you. About how you've lived these years." Erin spoke calmly. "I don't want you to quit your career. I want you to share this family with me, not leave it on my shoulders." Mark nodded, eyes wet. "Then teach me," he said. "I'll learn." He sent one message. "I'm offline today for a family commitment." Phone face down. Sophia clapped. "Daddy plays with me." Erin plated the eggs, sprinkled parsley, and exhaled just a little lighter. Real change begins when presence replaces performance. At breakfast, Erin spoke gently. "When we argue, don't say, 'You're overreacting.' That doesn't solve anything, it only silences me." Mark listened carefully. She proposed 3 questions they would always ask. "What hurts most right now? What did you hear me say? What is our next step?" Mark repeated softly, "Next step." Erin smiled. The danger in marriage isn't conflict. It's avoiding conflict. Sophia raised her toast like a trophy. "Next step, cake." Their shadows merged into one circle in the sunlight. Mark squeezed Erin's hand. She didn't melt, but she stayed. And that was enough. Love survives not because it is perfect, but because 2 people choose to realign when time pulls them apart.